I'm way far away. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Welcome to Friday Night Painting Lights.
Something like that.
I'm Jenny.
I'm the goofball Paul.
And we're Gogh Art Crate.
That's us.
I forgot there was something I wanted to clean up, a little drop of paint I got here, and I have to clean it up or something's going to get placed on top of it. And it's like the worst color. It's the...
Poop. We are relegated to blue shop towels tonight.
Yeah, we're out of paper towels. So blue shop towels, luckily we have plenty of.
They work
Hey,
pretty
Marlene, I think you're our only one on here right now. Good to see you. I'm glad someone's on here.
Yep.
It's always awkward to go on when there's nobody on, but that hasn't happened in a while.
It used to happen every week.
Yeah, when we first started out.
Yeah, the first year or so, it was like it was just us pretending like we were talking to people who weren't really there.
Yeah. So let's, why don't you tell us about your painting tonight, Paul? Like, what inspired you? I know there's something that inspired you because you told me about it right before we went live.
Well, let me switch over.
Okay.
Do we want to switch over? I guess.
Yeah, switch over.
Okay, but here we go. So obviously I'm always inspired by beautiful landscapes, but what I was inspired on in this painting was a painting that we saw at a spa retreat place that is nearby here, and not that we were going for spa, but we go there for dinner once in a while.
Yeah, they have a really nice bar.
Yeah,
live piano music.
Live piano music often, and good oysters on the half shell, and good cocktails, and all that fun stuff.
$125 later.
$125 later, and still hungry.
Yeah.
But anyway, there was they had a feature artist there that has quite a few pieces in the resort.
Yeah.
And they're large pieces, but one of the things that they had, one of the paintings featured these burgundy trees at a farm, and they were so non-detailed.
Oh, that's very, yeah, that's very you.
Yeah, and so.
But your mountain's kind of detailed, which is nice.
A little bit,
a little bit.
I'm going to zoom in real quick, and you can see
how non-detailed they are.
How non-detailed these trees are.
They are Bob Ross's hair.
Yeah, but Bob Ross was more detailed than this. So just keep in mind,
fuzzy.
They're very loose, and so when you zoom out, obviously you can see nobody questions whether these are trees or not, and so that's kind of an important thing to remember when we paint. Sometimes is that, especially like me, as I'm growing as an artist, as we all do, until the day we are done doing art. Hopefully we're still growing. Is understanding that we don't have to rely on fancy techniques and fine details to create nice looking artwork.
Yeah, these are just really fuzzy trees with little patches of light and dark reds.
Yeah. So
oh, hi, Kim. Computer going wonky and had to get a lollipop. We're here. Hey, man.
Man, a lollipop sounds really good, actually.
Yeah, lollipop. Got to go for that. Take the time for that.
So one of the things that we're finding that's really a bit of a trick and a challenge is when we develop these paintings 3 months in advance, it's coming back to them and teaching them.
It's not as fresh.
Yeah.
Is that your way of saying you forgot how to put it together?
No, but I definitely do have. I'm glad I've got these instruction sheets as a reference.
Yeah, like what color did I mix to make that?
Yeah, exactly. So I guess we should go ahead and get at it. Let's talk about our colors. Let's talk about our color scheme. In my high school, it was navy, 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 navy. Wait.
We were navy. We were navy and gold.
We were just navy and gold, navy and white.
Happy holidays to everyone, too. I hope you guys are enjoying this fast flying by fall. My gosh, it's already Thanksgiving next week. It's insane. I can't believe it. I almost feel like I've staggered into some portal. It's like a time warp
portal.
By the way,
I just want to go out and comment on Kim's comment there. I love Tootsie Pops.
Oh, yeah.
It's been so long since I've had one.
My favorite flavor is grape.
Yeah. Even just the chocolate flavor one.
I
like all Tootsie Pops. But as I'm getting older, my teeth don't like them as much.
Your dentist doesn't like them.
My dentist does not like. I also had the disadvantage of having played baseball for so long and packing sunflower seeds in my cheeks, which apparently the extra saliva and salt and all that stuff is really bad for your molars.
At least it wasn't
No, I
chewing.
never did chew. I have a
Sunflower
story.
seeds are okay.
When I was playing junior college ball, the chew was like I was glad I had risers underneath my soles called cleats, because it was walking through a sea of gross.
Yuck.
So the dugouts. So anyway, let's go ahead and get started on this painting. This painting. Oh wait, we're gonna talk about the color scheme. Same colors we've been using, and I really love these colors. They do everything we need them to do. So we've got our process cyan, process magenta, process yellow, black, white, and yellow ochre. One of my old-time favorite painting colors from the past.
Oh my gosh, a gnat landed on my yellow ochre. It's like stuck.
Yeah, we've got fruit flies.
Here's your gnat traps.
I put one up. It's just not.
I think it's stuck. I kind of want to help it, but then also. It's
No, I don't. Don't help it.
Well, I don't want the bug on my painting. So
Van Gogh's paintings had bugs on them. He's gonna die. All right. So what we're gonna start out with? We're gonna start out with the sky, and the sky is kind of a fun, simple sky that we get a little bit of some detail going on in it. And so let's scoot this bad boy out of the way. Put that right there.
Gnats everywhere.
We're doing gnat karate over here.
Kim says, already decorating for Christmas. Cherry flavor, but chocolate is good too. Yes, absolutely. But that's awesome that you're decorating for Christmas. We are going to start, hopefully this weekend.
Well, maybe. We've got a lot going on because we have our new Arts Foundation. If you guys go onto Facebook, follow us through the Sherwood Star Society.
Yeah, I can post a link to it.
Yeah, we'll post a link, and we're going to start doing some live classes through that.
Yeah, but we're moving some stuff in tomorrow.
Yeah, so tomorrow's
and
moving weekend. So anyway, so what we're going to start off with is we're going to start off by doing our sky. And one of the things that...
we're doing blue?
Yeah, we're going to do cyan and white. And one of the things is this color is such a beautiful color. But for this type of a sky where we're going for more subdued colors, it's a little too intense. So I'm going to add just the tiniest little dot of magenta. You don't want to turn it purple, but we do want to tone it down. I'm going to add just a little bit more magenta. You can add little bits, little bits, little bits until you go, okay, this is starting to look a little bit purple. And that's about where we want. I'm going to go a little bit more white. I want the sky to be really soft. And so we're just going to start at the top of the canvas. I'm going to add just a tiny little bit of water to this. I probably added too much, but add a little bit of water. It helps it flow a little bit. And then for this background part, it's okay. It's good to let it flow.
Let it flow.
Flow, 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 flow. Not going to have Daniel tonight. He's working.
Ah, bummer. It's always the job, which he's probably taken someone to some movie.
Probably. All right. Thanksgiving's next week.
That's what we just talked about.
Yeah.
Where were you?
I don't know.
It is hard to believe. So tell us, you guys, what do you do for Thanksgiving, and what's your favorite Thanksgiving dish? We had this conversation this morning, right?
Might have been last night.
Yeah, it was last night.
I went into the coffee shop next door here at work, and her name Haley.
Yeah,
Haley says, "So Paul, what's the one thing you have to have on your Thanksgiving plate?" And I was like, "Okay, buckle up, Buttercup, because we're going to talk for 45 minutes about this."
I believe it.
It's the only human interaction I get during the day is when I go get coffee. So I'm just adding more white just down below. We're going to come down about halfway down the canvas, and I'm going to pull this white up. Let it be blotchy and uneven. It doesn't have to be perfect. Actually, the more you blotch it, the better it looks.
I'm going to blotch it.
So I probably need to come back and answer what my favorite thing was.
Yeah, you led us up to like something exciting.
A crescendo.
Yeah, crescendo.
And it's funny because the thing I said is not something that I normally think of as being like my favorite Thanksgiving dish.
Oh, is it the green bean casserole?
No.
We never. Actually, we never have that in your.
No. We actually ended up talking about my family's Thanksgiving meal.
Okay.
Um,
For 45 minutes.
they were probably ready for me to leave. Um,
Bye, friend.
bye, bye, bye. Actually, I think they appreciated it. But anyway, yeah, I went with stuffing. And
Oh,
the
yeah,
reason
yeah.
I went with stuffing is not that so much that like stuffing is like my favorite food or anything, but stuffing is not something I get outside of Thanksgiving.
Mhm.
Well, except for lately we've been doing stovetop a little bit. But my adult life, it's not something we ever have outside of Thanksgiving.
Mhm.
We have mashed potatoes anytime we want. We have gravy anytime we want. Turkey, yeah, turkey sandwiches are always good.
So you're talking about actual stuffing that gets stuffed in the
Well,
what do they call that? The
the cavity,
cavity of
the
the bird.
carcass. So that's kind of where we. By the way, we've got this very light going on, but that's where we kind of got into that because I was like, I'm not talking stovetop, and then that's where it went into like my family's Thanksgiving is very traditional Thanksgiving, but we don't do canned cranberries like somebody actually makes cranberry sauce, and we don't do the green bean casserole. I think my sister does garlic green beans with some bacon and
Lemon.
yeah, and like the gravy is made from scratch from the drippings of the turkey. There's no packets involved, and
Kim says we are having turkey and fixings and Northeast lobster. Oh, lucky!
So
Sea
that's a big-
scallop, shrimp, and chowder.
see that's a big thing on the East Coast because
Mark's sister and brother-in-law are coming on Tuesday. We'll celebrate on Thursday and leave for an 8-day Southern Caribbean cruise.
there you go.
You guys have an amazing life. Our daughters will have all the leftovers.
So like oyster stuffing is a thing.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. By the way, I found a house in Maine for us to buy, just
Yeah.
so you know. I sent it to you.
I saw it. I looked at it, and it was like, wow, we could sell our house and upgrade and have money left over.
Yeah. It was cute. It was in Bangor. Bangor? Bangor? I don't know how you say
Yeah.
it.
Maine's great if you love bitterly cold winters and gigantic bugs in the summer. So.
I like bitterly cold winters, but I don't know if I could deal with the bugs as much.
Okay, so now in the instructions, we talk about doing kind of like this fade up. I'm going to bring the instructions in here real quick. We're going to
Get
basically
some gold in there.
Yeah, and it's we're making a pale peach. We're using yellow ochre, processed magenta, and white, and it's more so that we get some warmth into this lighter part of the sky rather than we're trying to paint this to be gold. So I've kind of mixed up just pretty close to equal parts ochre and magenta. I'm going to add white. I'm going to add a lot of white. And I'm
Ochre,
just going to
magenta, and white.
Yeah, I'm just going to start. I've got what is that?
I had like a couple things on my canvas. This canvas was sitting over in an area that I think had some like dust particles from your warehouse.
I gotcha. So basically, I'm just going to very lightly brush this color in right along the bottom. And this could still be wet a little bit.
I'm getting a little blue in there.
You get a little bit, it's okay.
No, on my palette, I got accidentally picked up a corner of blue.
So I'm not using very much paint because I don't want to be like all of a sudden get this weird mixture of peach and blue. So I'm very lightly whisper flicking across.
So I determined that I love, with Thanksgiving, I love mashed potatoes. So I'm not like one that's like, I can't do without stuffing. I like pumpkin pie, and nobody in Paul's family brings a pumpkin pie ever. So last year I brought one, and not a single person cut into it.
We
So
are
I'm like,
apple pie people.
this year I'm like, nope, I am just gonna make myself a pumpkin pie at home, and I will enjoy it. But I know a lot of people don't like pumpkin pie. Like Greta doesn't like pumpkin pie. But I do bring a really good. It's a kind of southern style pecan yam casserole, which is delicious. I've been the first year I made that. Paul's mom made sure I bring it every year. So, and now that she's discovered she's celiac, I actually make a gluten-free version for her, and then another one for.
So I've just added a little bit of that color, just kind of going all through. We can always add more white, whatever. So if I were going to pick my pie for Thanksgiving, this is where we understand that Paul has roots in Alabama.
Paul has never been to Alabama.
I've never
You've
been
only,
to Alabama.
on the East Coast, you've only ever been to Boston.
Yeah. But my grandfather was born and raised in Alabama, and apparently it's genetic. But I love pecan pie.
Pecan?
Pecan.
Is that how you guys? Is that how they say it there?
Or pecan. But in the South they call pecan.
Maybe.
Yeah, whatever.
Don't speak for the South.
I'm just thinking of Paula Deen.
Talking Kim likes pumpkin pie.
I don't dislike
I love
pumpkin
it.
pie.
So I'm one of those that I have to get the pumpkin spice lattes, all that every year because I love it. I love pumpkin stuff, and I feel like it's going to be here seasonally and it's going to go away, so I'm going to enjoy it while it's here.
There you go. And Bob's your uncle.
Hmm?
It's in Bob's your uncle. What's that say? What
Bob?
Marlene say? Have you ever heard Bob's your uncle?
No. Oh, Marlene says, I do all the traditional cooking and my boys come over and watch football all day. Well, that sounds like Paul wants to join your group.
You know, I'm not. So growing up on the West Coast, the football games are kind of like over early.
Mm-hmm.
They start early because they start at like 10 o'clock our time, so it's not really even.
Oh, so you watch them while I'm cooking?
No, I'm not a big NFL guy. I'm a college football guy. All right, so let's do our mountain. So mountain, real quick, all is, again, you think about the mountain being the full width of the canvas, but only like 2 inches tall. We're just going to keep it that, simple to start with. I'm going to take blue. I'm going to take magenta. I'm going to add a little bit of yellow ochre in here.
Your parents, though, like, your dad he does such a great job with the turkey, and he's always done such a good job with that.
So my dad used to be a butcher.
Yeah,
and
but
butchers know how to cook meat.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
like it's part of their job is to know how to cook
because people will ask them.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And yeah, he's always does an amazing job with the ham and the turkey.
Yep. Mom does less as she's getting a little older.
She does the stuffing and
the gravy.
Yeah, she always makes some delicious things.
And my parents are like, they do the actual, let's stuff the stuffing in the cavity, and I think you mentioned that.
Mm-hmm.
But then they also pull it back out partway through and then roast it out in the pan, so it's like
so there's no
the whole bacteria thing that people are always worried about. They make sure that they're covered. All right, so for the mountain, I'm just going to basically start about a third of the way across from the right side of the canvas and about halfway between.
Oh, what are we doing? Mountain, you said?
Yeah.
Okay.
About halfway between here and here, and I'm just going to basically. It's like if you started a clock, we're going to like 8 o'clock. From the peak.
Okay.
And then as we work our way across, we go flatter and flatter and flatter, like so. Gonna go similar type of angle going to the right.
Now, is this any particular mountain?
No, I mean, in mine, it's like we tend to default to Mount Hood.
Mm-hmm.
Just because we have the opportunity to see it every day, unless it's cloudy, which means we get to see it about a third of the time. But then I'm just going to take this color now and just fill it in
Looks like all the pool color.
Oh.
Yep.
Wiggle the mouse, Jenny, wiggle it.
There we go.
You know, I actually used to call this color elephant skin or elephant hide.
Weird.
Well, think about it. It's kind of this gray, but it's not lifeless. By the way, we have a new baby elephant at the Oregon Zoo.
And a baby black rhinoceros.
Wow. Oh, black rhinoceros. Okay,
yeah.
I had seen that there were 2 new babies.
Yep. That's the one that was like fully endangered.
You add a little bit more peak if you want to. So one thing that's really interesting, so my dad worked for a company called Fred Meyer, which is now owned by Kroger. But Fred Meyer was kind of like a locally founded company back in like probably the 50s or so, and my dad actually used to originally work for Mr. Fred Meyer himself. But really close to where we live is a community called Tualatin. And back in the 80s, when I was a kid, they were building Tualatin Fred Meyer. And it was kind of, there's a creek there, and there's kind of some swampland. And during the excavation, they actually found a fully intact mammoth skeleton.
Yeah, like a woolly mammoth. I wonder where that ended up. I can't remember.
I think that's the one up at the zoo.
Wow.
So I remember that was just such a big deal. And literally, it was like...
It was almost as big of a deal as blowing the whale up on the beach.
Yeah, so that actually happened this last...
The anniversary of that.
The anniversary of that just happened like last week. So back in the late 70s, a big whale washed up on the beach of Oregon, and the state's solution to getting rid of the body is let's blow it up into manageable chunks. And
all the news cameras were there.
They used way too much dynamite, and it literally destroyed cars in the parking lot.
Everybody
got showered.
Everybody got pink misted.
with whale blubber
that's been washed up. I couldn't imagine.
So it was funny because it's like I saw on Twitter this week that a whale washed up on the coast of somewhere in the UK, and I was literally like tempted to go from Oregon, just a tip, don't blow it up. You know, it's just don't do it.
What a way to go.
There's videos of it online too. It's pretty, because all the news companies were out there. Yeah, just don't blow up your dead whales, people. I think that probably applies to most critters. All right, I'm just gonna wipe my brush off.
What are you doing there?
I'm just wiping my brush off, getting extra pigment off. It doesn't matter.
You have green in it.
I have colors. I've added a little bit of white
to the base of this.
To the base.
I saw that you did that, but I don't think you said that you did that.
And I'm just gonna blend that out so it just creates it does a couple things. It feels like it's a little bit foggy, but it also creates some little bit of extra lightness so that when we start doing foothills and stuff like that, it creates a juxtaposition. It's the second time this week I've used the term juxtaposition.
Wow.
And I feel very, very proud of myself because it's not a word you get to use on a regular basis. We're going to let that dry because when we do our highlights, the highlights are going to be pretty simple, but we want to make sure it has a chance to get dried out. Let me just see where we're at on the instructions, just refresh my memory from July. I guess it wasn't July, but it was probably in August. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to add some clouds. Now, I know clouds are like a 4-letter word that has extra letters. But what we're going to do is we're going to create a base tone, and I'm just going to use the same peach color we used in the sky earlier. And I want you to think of these clouds as being kind of like wintry clouds. I don't know how clouds are in Florida and stuff like that in the winter, but in Oregon we get them and they kind of come in and they're almost like patchwork, kind of like whoever I'm looking
poofy.
For. Kind of, no, not really poofy, but like checkerboardy. Quilted.
Okay.
Quilted's a good word. So to start with, I'm just going to use this kind of peach color, and I'm going to kind of go at an angle here.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
And I'm just going to, and I've got a little bit of that darker color on my brush. That's okay. This is just So I'm bouncing the brush a lot.
We were greeted by, as we were coming over the hill from Sherwood into Newburgh, we were greeted with the most amazing sky. We both were like, we could take a picture, but it never captures exactly what it looks like. What time of day is this painting supposed to be, do you think?
Probably about the same time of day as like either first thing in the morning or it's late in the evening.
Okay. I kind of get
excuse
like a
me.
morning vibe.
It might be morning or it might be like 3:30 in the afternoon.
Lately been rain clouds, but ours can look like yours. Yeah. Oh, you're getting some rain clouds there in Florida.
So I'm going to, can you move your palette? Because I want to put that over. Where has my remote gone?
We actually had a library in Florida. You read the email. I didn't. Paul just told me about it today that reached out to us because they want to live stream our videos. There.
Or not live stream, but stream the video, have the option to stream the videos for teens and tweens.
Yeah.
But then we were like, well, we talk about alcohol and...
Yeah, there's some I think we could do, like...
I think we could leave it to their discretion.
Yeah.
To preview.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so you can kind of see... It's funny, our monitor has...
fruit flies on it?
Has
oh, wait, you just brushed one up on your brush.
I was picking it up.
Okay.
I want to make sure this looks like it's going behind the mountain.
Mm.
Don't... Keep in mind, we're going to be going over a lot of this with white.
Oh, Kim says their skies have looked like the color of your mountain. Oh, that's like...
If they ever look like this color, find shelter.
I'm sure they know that in Florida.
Better than we do, yeah.
Peachy clouds.
Yeah, so, but this is just a base.
You're putting some up here too?
Yeah, just let it break up as you move across the canvas. Start a little denser on the left, and as you work towards the right, just a few less. Nothing fancy, guys. Nothing fancy. I mean, look how I'm holding the brush, for crying out loud.
Yeah, I've gotten way better about holding the brush far back, just like it's become more natural feeling to me, which makes me happy because I'm not over detailing as much as my brain wants to.
All right, I'm going to zoom back out a little bit. So that's just
you have a jellyfish.
I do.
See, the white makes a jellyfish.
I see it. Where's Daniel?
Yeah, I'm taking his job.
So this can be kind of less is more than anything. You're adding texture, so this guy's not just super solid. Let me see where we're at by the fly. That gnat is driving me
It's a fruit
natty. All right, so we're just gonna kind of fill in a base down below. I'm not gonna worry about cleaning my brush. I'm just gonna grab some yellow ochre.
Kind of overlapping the mountain a little.
Yep. And this is really just nothing more than just underpainting. You go ahead and brush it down. One of the things you can do to kind of prevent this like hard line is wipe your brush off and just very lightly brush back and forth rapidly with vigor. But not a lot of pressure. And it just kind of softens that edge up. We're just going to work our way down. Got to work. Work it, girl. Do your thing. On the canvas. You can go down maybe within about an inch or so of the bottom. Again, it's not very imperative that this is like perfect.
So we're going all the way to the bottom?
I said just about an inch short. Yeah, just about an inch short of the bottom. And then from there, I'm just going to take black, start at the bottom. Let these two, oh man, Maybe not aggressive, that aggressively. Does not matter though. This is just underpainting. I just kind of got a little carried away with my sloppiness.
Watch yourself there, Paul.
You better watch yourself there, shooter. You better watch yourself there, tough guy. Sean Astin in 51st States.
Oh yeah,
Is
that was funny.
epic.
So are any of you guys watching like the Hallmark Christmas movies yet? I know we talked about it last week. We've put in some time.
We are fully engaged.
They're not like I just always call them Hallmark, but they're not all Hallmark. In fact, I don't even know if a single one
Most
that we
of them
watched
are not.
is Hallmark, but they always have the same plot.
I actually think, I bet you those guys get together and like right after Christmas, smoke a giant bowl, and they're like, how can we twist this old story to make it seem familiar but different? Keep in mind, we got to start filming in March.
Yeah. Well, how about this time if it's the guy that comes from the big city and the girl that works on the farm back in the hometown where they both went to high school?
I haven't seen that one yet.
I've seen like at least
I'm taking a little
10
bit of
versions of that one.
taking a little bit of magenta, by the way.
Yes, lots of Christmas movies. Have you watched the Santa Clauses series? Yes, with Tim Allen?
Yeah.
Yep.
No. Are you talking about the Santa Claus series, or are you talking about the Santa Chronicles with Kurt Russell?
Remember Tim Allen was in the Santa Claus where he slowly starts morphing into Santa?
Yeah.
Yep, we've watched those. And the Chronicles, Christmas Chronicles, or Santa Chronicle, whatever it's called.
I think it's the Christmas Chronicles.
With Kurt Russell. Those are good.
Ooh, excuse me.
Jeez.
What's that one with the girl that was in Twilight? Noelle?
Oh, that was cute, yeah.
That one's cute. I like that one.
Mm-hmm. Where she takes over
What's her
Christmas.
name? The actress's name?
Ask me that. She was in Pitch Perfect and Twilight. And for some reason, I always forget her name, even though I know I can like hear her voice.
What's that?
There's a series out now too, not just the movies. I didn't know that.
We'll have to check it out.
Yeah. I'm gonna look up her name.
And then we'll both go, oh!
It's Noelle. Yeah, we have a few that we save till December, like closer to Christmas. The ones that Greta likes, like the Princess Switch.
But like, let's get into like just not those obscure little ones. What about the big time, the big name ones? The big
Anna Kendrick is her
that's
name.
right.
It might be Anna Kendrick.
But like the big names, the ones that everybody knows.
Christmas-wise?
Yeah, Christmas movies.
Rudolph? Frosty?
Yeah, Rudolph, Frosty, Home Alone.
Oh yeah, Home Alone.
Christmas Story.
Die Hard.
Die Hard. So we need to watch Die Hard. I haven't seen it probably since high school, and I know there's a big fuss about whether it's a Christmas movie or not. I'm tempted to say it isn't, but at the same time, I'm tempted to say it is.
I think the 80s movie Better Off Dead is definitely, it takes place at like Christmas time.
Okay. But we have to wait on that one. We always watch Elf. We watch Elf every year.
Marlene says, I always have to watch A Christmas Story. Yes, we absolutely have to. Kim says, I love the Switch movies. We already watched them this month. Yeah, and they made a whole bunch of them, and they just kept getting wilder and wilder, like when they brought the blonde cousin in there that's also played by Vanessa Hudgens. It's so funny.
What was the one that we just watched recently? Merry Christmas? That was pretty decent.
Yeah, that was funny.
I mean, they're all...
I like that. There's one called The Christmas Inheritance, which I like. It has just kind of like that cozy feel. And Greta absolutely loves, her very favorite is The Night Before Christmas, and that's spelled Knight, and it's about this guy that travels from medieval times
travels
into current times.
I don't understand your iron chariots.
It is so funny, but secretly, I think Greta has a crush on
Your
him.
magic box with pictures and speaking voices.
And he calls hot chocolate delicious mead.
Yeah. That one's pretty funny. And you know, that one is so tongue-in-cheek. So tongue-in-cheek.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Okay. So like
All
our
right.
surfer dude.
Yeah.
Mm.
Right, dude. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna rip some curl. All right.
Kim says Die Hard will come in December. It is a Christmas movie.
Okay.
Yes.
So like, yeah, and like the more I think about it, the more I think it kind of is. But I mean, I don't know. I'm torn. All right. So we're gonna mix up our mountain color again. I'm actually gonna add just a touch, just a skosh of black.
Who is that voice from?
That's Cameron, Abe Froman, the Sausage King of
Oh my
Chicago.
goodness. Okay, what did you do? You did cyan, magenta, and what was the other colors that go in here?
Just a little bit of black.
You didn't do like yellow ochre?
I did put a little bit of yellow ochre, but then I wasn't feeling the vibe.
The
But
mountain
it's
color.
okay if it doesn't matter.
Wait, are we making the mountain color? That's what you
Yeah,
said.
basically. Mine's got a little bit of yellow ochre in it. and
Yours
it's-
is a completely different color.
Okay, at this point, you're just disrupting the process. We need to figure this out.
Yours is a different color. I need more magenta. I think it's right behind your painting. We grab it. You have longer arms than I.
There ain't nothing here but booze.
No, there's. There.
All right. It doesn't really matter what color it is as long as it's darker than your mountain.
Joanna's here. Oh my
Oh,
god, I
that's too
forgot.
dark.
What is wrong with me? I'm here now though. Yep, we're just a third of the way through. You're good. You came at the right time. That's totally fine.
All right, I forgot to add some white.
Oh, the name of the movie is called The Night Before Christmas. It also stars Vanessa Hudgens and this cute little British boy. I don't know what his name is, but yeah, it's a cute movie. I really loved it.
So all we're doing here is we're just taking this color and we're making kind of a foothill.
Okay.
You can kind of fuzz out the bottom edge. There's no right or wrong.
Don't feel like a loser. You're recovering from COVID still. You know, that's tough. My gosh. And you hadn't gotten it before. We, knock on wood, have not gotten it yet.
Do we need to say oi soy impiendio?
What's that?
I don't know.
What is that?
I'm a loser, baby.
Oh.
Something like that. Oi soy impiendio. I don't know.
Is this supposed to be so stripey like this?
No.
Okay.
I mean, it will be. It won't be when we're done.
Should I put yellow ochre in the bottom?
No, don't worry about it. How are we supposed to encourage people to not overthink things when we overthink things ourselves?
Well, I tend to sometimes. I'm just asking the questions everybody has. Come
I'm asking the questions that everybody needs to know.
on.
Yeah, actually, stripey's okay for right now.
Oh, you still have the cough. Ugh.
Oof.
See, we think our kids got it right before it was
I don't think so.
a thing. Well, they had something really bad.
Yeah.
And then Greta developed POTS from it, which is posturoorthostatic tachycardia syndrome. And after that illness, Greta developed POTS. And I read that a lot of people who have had COVID have developed POTS, which is, it's not really a serious thing.
But it's also 3 months before the first confirmed case in the United States. So I think we start entering into conspiracy theories when we start assuming our kids had it before anybody else did.
It's something real bad. But anyway, yeah, so I wondered anyway, like, oh, maybe Greta had it and got developed POTS from it.
So if you're like Jenny and you're a little bit concerned about this being too stripey, you can take...
Like mine looks like a flag. It looks like the German
No,
flag.
it's okay.
Isn't that the
It's
German
okay.
flag?
It's
right
okay. It's part of the process. You can take, if this feels a little too harsh, you can take your number 8.
there? And what color?
No color.
Oh.
Just soften.
Mine's already dried though.
Just soften the edge.
Yeah, Pots is a it's comes in like episodes. It's very bizarre, and Greta's heart.
Usually on school days.
Yeah, usually on school days. How does that work? But Greta's heart rate will like we'll be sitting on the couch next to each other, and suddenly Greta's heart rate will go really high, like in the 90s, for no reason. Just sitting there, like laying there for 2 hours, and suddenly the heart's like, okay, let's go.
Like they take it seriously enough that she gets like special treatment at school, and that she gets like the elevator pass and stuff like that.
And she could get like more time to pass between classes, but like
Mhm.
some days she'll wake up with uh feeling kind of dizzy, just not horrible, but just enough that she feels off. And yeah, it's a strange thing. I had never heard of it until Greta was diagnosed.
Yeah. So this, I think this step that we're working on right now, I feel like it in the instructions. There's a lot that goes on in step 4 with not a lot of verbiage.
Nice.
You know,
Do this now.
honestly, people should be only referencing the instructions and should just be following the videos.
Yeah, I think a lot of people like to have them.
That's why I said they can reference them.
We did get them all uploaded on our website for those of you who are members. So if you ever like lose one or you want to do an old project, you can find it on our. Where did they find that, Paul? Where on the website do they find the instruction sheets?
I did not come prepared for this.
Okay, never mind.
There's a link called instructions.
Yeah, and you can just look it up by the name of the painting.
Yep.
And they are there. You can print them out.
Okay, I'm going to use my number 8 brush.
Okay.
What we're going to do now is we're just going to take some pure white and we're going to start lightly, not covering, but mostly covering our underpainting for our clouds.
Are we focusing on like the top edge or does it matter?
Doesn't matter.
Okay. Kind of scribbling it in there.
Yeah, you don't need to put a lot of paint on the brush. You don't even have to stick, like if sometimes your brush goes off the underpainting, that's fine. But less paint on the brush is a good thing.
Oh yeah, that humidity living 2 blocks from the ocean is great, Diana. That's perfect. Yeah, the painting totally looks like a rainbow. I love that too.
Makes me want to get
Looks
Skittles.
like my Pendleton jacket.
It does.
Yeah, I love the humidity at the coast. When it's in the actually the Oregon coast never really gets hot. I mean, I'm sure there'll be some days that are warm, but I love the humidity there in the cooler months.
I mean, it's always going to be humid.
Mm-hmm.
The wind might make it feel like it's not, but it still is.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I had it. Remember when we went? So when we went to Yachts in uh, earlier this month, remember Greta and I were like so we just felt so over like
Humid?
yeah, we were like sweating in the house and it's like only 60 some degrees. It was really weird. I think it
In the house?
yeah. That was really strange. I've never had that at the Oregon coast. And if it was just me, I'd be like, oh, yeah, well, I'm at that age where I'm just going to start sweating occasionally. But Greta was experiencing it too. So now I'm like, oh, nice. I'm still young.
I don't know. I never asked Hayden if he.
He had his heater cranked. Maybe he's the reason that we felt sweaty. He had his own whole space downstairs, which is nice. We love this particular house because of that.
Maybe wiggle the mouse just in case it wants to shut off.
Oh, yeah. I use the humidifier if you use your AC for sure. Oh,
So it's weird. My good buddy Aru, my golf buddy, lives in Detroit, Michigan. And
He used
normally
to live here.
he used to live here, but they moved to Detroit. And he went golfing yesterday because it was 60 degrees in Detroit. There should be snow on the ground in Detroit. Just saying.
Ooh.
Most of the courses close in Michigan October 1st.
Well, he's getting to expand the season out.
Mm-hmm.
I am getting mixed reports in Oregon of what the weather is supposed to be this winter because some forecasters are saying, be prepared for lots of snow, and then others are like, we can have a really mild winter because of La Nina.
El Nino.
Is it? Oh, okay, it's El Nino.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't even know what to believe. I'll believe it when I see it with all of them.
Always I follow those weather tracking forums and stuff on Facebook. I'm just going to tilt this a little bit so you guys can see. It's just really, mine's going to get a little bit more texture. I can maybe even zoom in. It actually just looks muddy right now, but on the camera, but it's not.
Oh, yeah, you probably had a lot of snow in New Hampshire, didn't you? You probably got sick of it, Kim.
Well, the weather on the East Coast, like the upper East Coast, New Hampshire, Connecticut, stuff like that, is a little easier to predict than Portland.
Why is that?
Portland has a lot of factors.
Mm-hmm.
Portland has weather patterns that can come in from the North Pacific, from Alaska down along the coast and come in. It has weather that can come up from the California up the coast and come in. And then if the air pressure's right, it can funnel air down the Columbia River Gorge from Canada, like Glacier National Park, mainland, Banff, Canada, that's just frigid cold. And all three of these patterns kind of have this constant battle over Portland. And so that's why it's really difficult to know.
I imagine these Greek gods up in the sky fighting.
It really
over
is, because it just depends on what'll happen is the colder air from Canada that comes down from the east will come in underneath the other two. And if the weather pattern from the South Pacific is coming in, it comes up over the top, and then we get rain that it rains, and then as soon as it hits the ground, it freezes. It's called freezing rain. If you get the Canada pocket in, but then the moisture is coming from Alaska, then we get snow.
Mm-hmm.
If the air pocket from Alaska or from Canada comes in and just kind of settles in, we just get frigid cold. And then if you get the north and the west come in together, or the north and the south come together, we just get a ton of rain, no snow, but it's like 36 degrees and rainy. But it's not cold enough at the surface to stick.
Oh, yeah, Kim says that's why they moved. Ice storms sucked big time, but here in Florida it gets cold when the Canadian air moves south. Yeah, the ice storms would be hard because we had one really big one here in 2020, and oh my gosh, it destroyed my parents' yard. A tree fell and broke the window of their car, and all over the place. Roads were closed. It was the worst ice storm we'd ever had.
What's really unique is that Canada pocket is high pressure, and the other two moist pockets that come either north or south are low pressure. And so what happens is right at the mouth of the gorge, for example, there's just up the gorge a little bit, there's a place called Crown Point. And it's not unusual for them to record 100, 110 mile an hour winds that are just ripping out of Canada down the gorge. And like literally, it's unprotected. There's nothing, and it's 100 mile an hour winds because it's just the air pressure is trying to balance themselves, and it funnels through the gorge. Beautiful sight.
Mm-hmm. You can get out of your car.
Yeah, but a lot of times you can't. All right, enough talk about that. What's Joanna say?
I don't know if I've been in an ice storm, but I don't think I want to.
Oh no, we get them. We used to get them a lot in the 70s. You remember?
I was like a child, like a young child.
You're older than me,
I
so
know. How do you remember the 70s?
barely. I had older siblings.
True.
But we get these ice storms. They're coupled with high wind too, usually.
Mm-hmm.
So we get the freezing rain that builds up on all the trees, and then we're getting 40, 50 mile an hour winds. And when that starts to happen, then all of a sudden, bye-bye power for everybody.
So, Joanna, you didn't really get ice storms in Wisconsin then? Just mainly snow?
Just snow.
Huh.
All right, guys, let's start
Crazy
working on our
clouds.
trees. So I'm going to take my biggest brush. I am worked. Can you get me another paper towel?
Wow, you've never asked for another paper towel.
Well, I've been.
You always prided yourself on not using a secondary paper towel.
Yeah, it's just I've been wiping a lot of water off and it's soaking through. All right. I'm looking at our time. We're doing good time-wise, actually. I was afraid we were dragging, but we're doing good.
Oh, Joanna says we had a high wind day a couple of weeks ago. Yep, that's when we were there. It was pretty scary.
Yeah, we were there
the two bridges on the way to work.
First through the 6th.
It was really windy, like enough that we couldn't sleep because it was so loud.
Yeah, the first night we were there, it was hard, and then the dogs. I think Chicky actually likes the wind, like in a weird way. She's like she feels like like dialed in, like Call of the Wild. All right, so I'm gonna mix.
Oh, it was Idaho. Not Wisconsin. Yes, mostly mostly snow. I mean, it might be icy, but it wouldn't be raining icy like you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, no, the worst things that we get is, and it's funny because like people are like in the Midwest are always like, oh, people in Portland and Seattle, they just don't know how to drive in it, and it's like, no, you don't know how to drive in it either because it's different than what you've got. Like it's like trying to. We usually have a base of ice that then wet snow is on top of versus really dry pavement with powdery snow blowing around. It's just a different. Like we have a employee that used to work with us who was from Wisconsin, and she's like people in Wisconsin who talk smack about people in Oregon need to come here and try to drive in this.
Yeah, she was surprised.
So, all right, so I'm gonna mix up the base color for our trees that go across here, and then our larger trees. And basically, what I want to do is it's mostly magenta. I'm gonna bring this back over here. A little bit of ochre. And just for now, I'm just going to keep it at this. Let's add just a tiny little dab of cyan just to give it a little bit of depth, almost burgundy-ish. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use my biggest brush. And I'm just going to work across here. Now, I know that when you look at the finished painting, this is like gold. This is just our base color.
So we're going right at the top of this right here.
Yeah, just kind of leaving a little bit of that foothill that we just painted showing.
Oh, I see. I can see it on your original.
Again, just
really
it soft.
Scary, that wind there. A couple years before, we always go to Yachats in October, and I think it started with we just go on during our anniversary week usually.
Well, we used to go to Central Oregon for our anniversary week, and then we've just kind of found that we prefer the coast. I mean, Central Oregon's amazing, by the way, but we fell in love with the coast.
Change of scenery.
Yeah, we fell in love with the coast.
But yeah, this year we went a little later because of just schedules and stuff. But the couple of years before, it was so windy and there were like 30-foot swells out in the ocean. And the day we left, it was insane. I have a video of us sitting in the car ordering coffee at the drive-thru. And it was like someone was spraying a hose on full blast on our car because of how windy, rainy it was.
I'm just softening up this bottom edge. Just go back and forth. So what I was doing is I'm just using the brush very lightly because I don't want this to be too harsh we'll come back in with yellow ochre and brighten this up in a bit. But for right now, we're just doing that. I'm going to mix up a little bit more of my darker burgundy, if you will. I'm kind of a big Dale.
You should move here and be my neighbor. We would love to. We had this conversation yesterday, didn't we, Paul?
I think that's kind of our goal.
We want to move to the central Oregon coast somewhere, and
somewhere between Newport and Florence, I think.
Our idea is to retire and open an art gallery at one of the beaches.
Yep. Semi-retire.
Semi-retire, yeah. Semi-retire. I mean, we'll always have something work-wise.
Yeah.
We just can't stop ourselves.
We're addicted and we just can't get enough. All right. So now for our bigger trees, this is going to be the hard part. So I'm going to zoom in. And when I say hard, it's not hard in the sense that it's technically difficult. It's hard in that we have to let go and just kind of let it be what it is. So I'm going to take my biggest brush and I'm going to go a little higher than my mountain.
Oh yeah, Kim, you described an ice storm perfectly. An ice storm is when it would rain and then freeze to anything it hit. Streets, trees, power lines, steps. Can't drive in it, lose power because of it, slip on the stairs.
You guys, I might have to share this on our wall, but every year there's this video.
Okay.
Of this couple who moved up here from California, and we've got this big snowfall, and they're down in kind of a upper, like kind of a.
They're yuppies.
Yuppie-ish. You know, nobody uses the term yuppie really too much.
They were
anymore.
yuppies.
Yuppie-ish part of Portland, and they're being interviewed because they're out running, and they're being interviewed by the news agency, and the lady's like, "It's just really easier on your joints
to run in the snow.
It's just really great, blah blah blah." And she's just like, I mean, kudos to her for being so in love with life. But then they take off.
No, it was like very smug.
It was very smug. I was trying to be nice. They take off running, and I kid you not, they go about 10 steps, and she hits a patch of ice and just eats it.
Like
on live TV, and it's just like, it's epic.
It still goes viral, and people make fun of her. Not, and it's only because of the smug way that she was saying it.
It's low impact, so it's easy on your joints.
It's like somebody just.
And she ate it hard. Like her feet just went right out from under her. I think she hit her head, but I think she was all right because they turned around and gave a thumbs up. But it was like on live TV. It was pretty funny. All right.
Can we be best friends and drink wine all the time? Yes.
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 I lean towards whiskey as I'm getting older, but all right. Just going to do the second tree. Now, I'm not talking about what we're doing with the trees because I really just want you to think about the overall basic shape more so than the details. We'll bring this.
Hey, what kind of trees are these?
I have no idea.
Okay, because I kind of made mine shaped like a Christmas tree.
No, they're not that. They're more like I would say if you were going to say it's a type, like a poplar.
Okay.
I almost started getting too detailed with mine, too.
Yeah, mine was definitely getting that triangular shape. It is the season.
We're thinking about it.
Joanna likes cognac.
Oh, no, flat out, that works. All right, so I'm just going to do a couple more of these over here on the left-hand side. Not quite as tall or about equal to the height of the mountain. Ooh, I got a little bit more. It's okay if you get more of this, like I added a little bit of purple, cyan. It's okay because it just creates shadows. It's totally fine. And let's do another one that's maybe a little bit taller. And maybe a little bit shorter. That works. I am going to go get a regular seltzer.
Okay.
So Jenny, I was thinking, do we want to go to our place or do we want to just order takeout from Abby's?
Already thinking about dinner.
I'm always thinking about food.
Yeah, you are. He's always thinking about food, and then he's always like, I think I need to eat more because I'm losing too much weight. And I'm over here going,
F you,
I really
jerkhead.
hate you right now.
It's kind of true, though. All right, so you guys, I got this. This is Waterloo Sparkling Water. It's spiced apple.
It's weird, but good.
It's actually, I am a big fan of sparkling water at work because I am a soda junkie. I need that fizziness, and the seltzers and sparkling waters are a good. I love Death Water. It's my favorite brand.
That's such a weird name.
But not a sponsor. They should be. But yeah.
Is it sugary? Nope, it's
No.
not sweet at all. I don't think there's any sugar, anything in it. No
0 calories.
artificials, no.
Oops, I'm dripping. Why are you dripping? Can you give me another paper towel? It's interesting because it tastes like it should be sweet, but it's not.
Yeah, it's kind of like how licorice tea has that, like this particular one, but other Waterloos, like other flavors, don't have that sweet, like, I don't even want to call it a sweet flavor, but it is like, I think
it tastes like apple. It tastes like spices.
It's a little bit of spice that's in it that makes it, like, makes you think it's maybe kind of sweet because you're used to, like, cinnamon being in something sweet, but it's...
Like, I love soda, I'm not going to lie, but as I'm getting a little older, and I was thinking about this the other day, is like our son Hayden and I, every Thursday we get fast food for lunch. It's been a routine for years. And I'm getting to the point where it's like, I go and I get it, but I don't really feel very excited or satisfied by it anymore. Whereas I used to really look forward to going and getting my fast food. So I don't know. Something's wrong.
Well.
Pizza on the other hand. All right, so I'm going to take a little bit of this color. I'm going to add a little bit more cyan back into it, a little bit more magenta. I want to make kind of a deeper purple. And just really quick, I'm going to kind of slide this in right along the underside here. You have to be careful. If this hasn't dried yet and it's starting to lift, maybe just leave this alone for a bit. I think that's kind of what mine's starting to do, so let's leave that alone for a bit. All right, next step. I got to look at my cheat sheet here. Okay, this works. All right, this area should be dry, so let's work on this central area. We want to brighten this up a bit. So I'm going to keep using my biggest brush. I am going to start off by just taking a little bit of fresh yellow ochre. I'm going to start right in the middle.
You just call it yoker.
Yoker.
Abby's pizza is delicious, but so expensive. Is that where you were? That's where we do like to go. There's an Abby's here in Newburgh.
Yeah, there's one down in Newport.
And we all went to Abby's a lot as kids.
So I'm a pizza nut. I used to work in pizza places. I love making pizza from scratch at home. Off and on, I've debated opening a pizzeria. It's never going to happen. I don't want it to happen at this point. No. But there are modern pizza, which I kind of think is being more, quote, artisan pizzas. And I think that's a lot of the pizza places. Then there's budget pizza places, and I'm going to go like Papa John's, Papa Murphy's, Pizza Hut, Domino's. They all kind of fit in that category. Nothing wrong with those. But like Papa Murphy's, I actually, wiggle the mouse.
Okay.
This is me. I have strong opinions about this. I actually prefer Totino's pizza over Papa Murphy's.
Oh, Papa Murphy's it's their dough.
If you look at the recipe online, the reason it tastes like biscuits is because it has sodium bicarbonate to raise so that they can keep the crusts from raising while they're waiting to be made. Now,
our son loves it.
Now, then we get into the category of 1970s/80s pizzeria, the after the Little League game.
Are you talking about the Five Nights at Freddy's pizza?
Yes, we are talking about Abby's. We are talking about Round Table Pizza.
Freddy Fazbear.
Round Table would be more of a national brand. We are talking
Godfathers.
about Pietro's.
Oh yeah, Pietro's. I forgot.
That thin crust that's got just some, I don't know what the flavor is. It's not yeasty, but it's crispy and tasty, and they're always loaded with lots of toppings. Like we got Domino's the other day, and we ordered mushroom and black olive, and I swear there was like 4 slices of mushroom.
Mushrooms are expensive, man.
All right, so while we're working on this part, I'm going to take a little bit of white, a little bit of our ochre, and a little bit of yellow. And before we get going too far...
White, ochre, and yellow?
Yeah, white, ochre, and yellow. On the pizza thing, there is no wrong pizza. Even Papa Murphy's. So if you think I'm judging, I'm not.
Such a snob.
There is no wrong pizza.
Okay, so this color.
I'm just going to add a little bit extra brightness. And I'm putting the paint on fairly heavy, but I'm not blending it out too much. Just kind of in this middle area. Middle. It's so funny. I was thinking that.
You're copying me, Paul. Oh, you know what? We actually are. I know that we mentioned we both put 4 paintings in a show recently, and all 8 paintings sold.
Yep. So there's no rivalry at home. No sour feelings.
No, you're better than me. And I love that there are subjects that we like excel in. Like yours are landscapes, mine are animals and owls.
But I think it inspired both of us. We really wanted to try to actually start doing more gallery type of work and commission type of work.
Oh yeah, when you start like seeing that people actually want your paintings.
Yeah.
You know, because it's really hard to look at your own art and judge it. Like I can say, yes, I'm better than I was before, but like, can I look at my art and say, wow, I'm really good? No, it's kind of hard to do that. And so it is the validation of selling some means like, oh, people want my work. They like the way it looks.
Yeah, because they weren't bought by people we know.
Mm-hmm. At least not that we know of.
It's like, it's not. Well, maybe it was. I don't know. But that's kind of like when we were talking about the moving down to the coast and opening in our own gallery. That was kind of what the satisfaction of doing that. And we've both had people tell us that we could do pretty well doing that if we chose to. But that's got to be like I wouldn't want to be like my entire future is reliant on this.
Yeah, I think though if we did that, we would run classes down there.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, if we could get a gallery that's got a classroom space, a workshop space.
Yeah, that's what we would need.
It would not. We're thinking about gallery studio names and
just for fun.
Just for fun.
For fun right now. We're not in a position to be able to do that yet.
No, no, but you never know.
A while, but you know.
You never know. So I'm just kind of
good to dream.
Pulling this color down a little bit into our foreground. You can always add more of this bright yellow. This bright yellow, I feel like, is underused by us sometimes.
Yeah, I feel like that too.
I tend to use it as an accent color more than a focal color.
Oh, Joanna says we have cobblestone pizza over here, and it's pretty good. I'm obviously not as knowledgeable as Paul. That's amazing. You guys are awesome. Oh, thank you.
To give you guys an idea, Jenny's sister opened a pizza place a few years ago, and on opening night, they ended up in the weeds because
they had a line around the.
And Jenny and I literally
all their friends
got in the car. Well, you were up at Skamania, weren't you?
Yeah.
I was
teaching a
at home
class.
in Sherwood, and we both got in the car from wherever we were, and we went over immediately, and I just like started tossing pies, and because I can do the whole tossing thing, and but the way they had it set up was the people who were ordering, like the person making the pizzas was right in front, and it was just like
When Melissa had shut down.
Jenny's sister shut down emotionally. Brian, her husband, shut down emotionally. Meanwhile, I'm up there fully interacting with customers and making pizzas and laughing and joking, and Jenny's over at the register taking orders and laughing and joking.
Well, I worked at the Olive Garden for a couple years.
Yeah.
I know how that goes. You're just crazy. You just gotta
I was just
do one person at a time. You
I
don't
was
focus
just
on
like,
anything else.
what diameter do you need and what goes on each one? We got this, bro. And so we had a lot of fun that night.
I was trying to think. Actually, in Lincoln City, Gallucci's Pizza. It's been
there
a
a long
long
time,
time since
yeah.
I've been, but they are really good, and they're just right on Highway 101.
All right, so we're just gonna kind of from this point forward, where are we at? We're at an hour and 10 minutes. There's not a lot more to do in this painting other than just building up. Let's do our highlights on our mountain first, and then we're gonna kind of come back and we're gonna start adding some, like this looks okay to me, but you can see like the mountain cutting it through there. You can see that line. So we're just gonna start building some color. We're gonna start adding some brightness in here. We're gonna add some shadows, and then this foreground area is not gonna take that long. That was probably the part I struggled with the most on this painting.
Really?
Yeah. This painting is kind of an interesting painting because the focal is up here, and this foreground area, you got to do something that's there without taking away from what's up here.
Mm-hmm.
And so that part was the part that really gave me some issues. So I may stray from the instructions for that part. But okay, for our highlights on our mountain. Basically what we want to do is we're just going to highlight the left side of this mountain, which is unique. Normally I typically highlight the right hand side because where we live in Oregon, we are west of Mount Hood, and so when we see Mount Hood is lighted from this side to the south, and so I tend to do my highlights on this side. I chose to do highlights on this side because this feels more like Central Oregon kind of colors to me.
Mm-hmm.
Central Washington, or east of the mountains, Washington, Oregon.
Let's show your original.
Yeah. Plunk. So we're going to do these highlights. Now the highlights are kind of something that I don't want you to get too focused on it because we don't want it to be too crisp.
But you also don't want to blend.
You don't want it blended out too much.
Not too crisp and not too blended.
Yeah.
The happy medium.
So
yeah, you need to zoom in and show us how you do this.
So
this is something that a lot of people struggle with.
I'm going to start with a little bit of cyan, a little bit of magenta. It's almost like our sky color. Let's go a little bit more magenta. And a whole lot of white. This is a tricky part because you want it to go on and feel white, and if it feels blue, you need to add more white. That's too blue, so I'm going to add a little bit more magenta. There we go.
Steal some white from you.
So the main thing is this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to put a little sample on there. Still too dark. So I'm going to show you a trick. Let me move this out of the way. Jenny's taking gobs of paint. You do not need gobs of paint for this.
I'm out of white, so I do.
All right. So rather than trying to tint this whole puddle to make it the color you want, just work along the side of it and add your color, add your white, and just pull a little bit in. I used to see this in the studio where people would see how I've worked across. This was a little too blue. I just add a little bit more magenta, and I'm working my way across. And the reason I do it this way is so that I'm not just blasting a bunch of paint into here to make a color. Because if I tried to turn this to add enough purple, then I've got a lot of paint. Then I got to add enough white to make it this color, and all of a sudden I'm out of paint. I've got more 10, 20 times more paint than I actually need, and I can use these other colors to add some shadows and stuff if I want to. So what I like to do is I'm going to get most of this paint off my brush. I'm just going to pick up some of that lightest patch, and I'm going to use the brush. I kind of hold it like this, rather than holding it like a pencil. And I'm just going to take the brush and I'm going to add a little bit more white yet. It looks okay on
Me too.
You're just like, Jenny's got 40 times more paint than she needs. No, I'm just kidding. So I start with a little bit. And it's just these little scrapes. I'm actually kind of using more like the side of the brush rather than the tip of the brush.
You could also use your palette knife, guys.
You could use your palette knife. That's something that I'm not in love with these plastic palette knives for doing that.
I have to agree with you.
So it's just kind of this scrape. So this is a middle mound, so there's going to be some shadow on there, so I'm going to pick up this edge. Jenny, I got a funny story. Did you see the cougar sighting, aka mountain lion sighting at Cook Park in 12?
Yeah.
Did you see the follow-up on that?
No.
It was just a large house cat.
Like a Maine Coon or something?
No, like an orange tabby.
Oh my gosh, and someone mistook it for a puma?
Yeah, like mountain lion.
That's insane.
So I've got that little bit of shift, and if I zoom out, let's zoom. Faster remote, there we go. You can see it's got a little bit of that. You can now take a little bit more white if you want to. And just lightly put it on there. You want to think about just kind of sliding the paint onto the canvas rather than brushing and blending.
I just need pure white now.
Dude, you have used all of my white.
Look at what I did here. You see all my colors?
I know, I'm teasing her.
I just couldn't get it light enough. So I was doing the thing where you pull it. Not you resource guarding your white.
All right. So that's all you really need to do. If you want to come back, like, I feel like this needs to be a little bit more up in here. If you feel like, oh, wow, I want to add some extra shadow back in to create some extra contrast, you can mix up, like a dark plum color. Maybe add a little bit of ochre to it just to... You have to be careful with that because then it turns it green in a hurry. And you want to be in the purple realm.
Purple realm, purple.
The bluish side of purple, by the way.
Tie-dye pizza in Lincoln City. I've never heard of
I've seen that one.
Where is it?
It's on the main drag.
Huh. Gallucci's is probably expensive. I bet they're like probably.
It's been there forever.
$35 pies.
I kind of feel like it's the kind of place that I feel like if we actually went back to, we'd be disappointed.
Yeah, because we were like 19. We went there.
Like I feel like it's more like when when you go to like the Olive Garden and you get pizza. I feel like that's Gallucci's.
Actually, you know what? There's a secret thing with the Olive Garden. Their pizzas were okay, but they were just frozen crusts. But you could, as someone who works there, you could ask the kitchen staff to make you, this is weird. Some people will probably think this is really weird, but you can have them make you a Caesar salad pizza. So they do the pizza crust with, I don't know if they brushed it in butter.
Yeah, it's the garlic
Parmesan garlic butter, and then they mix a Caesar salad and they bake it. They don't bake it with the salad on it. They bake the crust and then they take it out and mix up a Caesar salad and spoon it on top. It's so good.
So one of the pizza places I worked, I'm just adding a little extra white. This lady that worked, she was like a lady from Ecuador or something like that, and she worked across the street at another restaurant. and she would come in and she would order a pepperoni pizza with. Now our Hawaiian pizza we did at our pizza place had mandarin oranges on it as well.
Yeah, report back. I want to know.
So she would order pepperoni pizza with mandarin oranges, pineapple, and jalapenos.
You know,
I used to think that was like
I would
was
eat
crazy.
something like that.
But that is like the perfect pizza to me now.
I'm weird, and I like mandarin oranges or pineapple on pizza.
Yeah.
Like, I'm one of those rare breeds. You know, some people like think it's the most disgusting thing.
And if you guys ever make pizza at home, as we're going on pizza, and if you like Hawaiian pizza, do yourself a favor. Don't buy Canadian bacon.
Buy Spam, right?
Get Spam.
Yep.
Slice it real thin. Put it on there. You could even like pre-grill it. It's more Hawaiian than Canadian bacon is. It's so good.
Yeah, it is pretty good.
All right, so I'm going to stop talking about food. We do need to finish this painting. I'm going to now start.
Ooh, Joanna's a pineapple club.
Yeah.
Pineapple pizza and jalapenos, pickled jalapenos.
So like we had this discussion, like you could add pickled jalapenos to just about any pizza. And it won't ruin it unless you don't like spicy food. But to me, it's like I could add the only and pineapple too. The only thing that pineapple doesn't work with is
mushroom and olive.
No, that's perfect.
Okay.
Like Alfredo base.
Oh yeah, that wouldn't be good. I was thinking though the mushrooms might taste kind of weird with it.
No, it tastes fine.
Okay.
Yeah, it tastes fine. All right, unless you hate pineapple, and then that's okay. Not gonna call you out on that, but Daniel hates pineapple. Just gonna say it.
Well, yeah, Kim is in the pineapple and ham on pizza club too.
Yeah, do yourself a favor, Spam. You can get the low sodium kind. Spam is one of those things that everybody hates until they actually try it. And then they're like, oh.
Or smell it.
Oh, it's actually pretty good. It's loaded with MSG. No, actually, I don't even think it is. All right, so I'm just going to mix up kind of it's just mostly magenta and ochre with a little bit of the cyan, just to add some substance.
I had already done that, so I think my cheese are
Yeah.
like opaque.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're going for, some opacity. All right, then the next thing we're going to do, let's see. I'm going to actually take a little bit, I'm going to take this color we're mixing here, I'm going to add a little bit more cyan, a little bit more magenta. And basically what we want to do is I'm just going to take this, I'm going to zoom in. Yeah, the Spam sodium is still high. That's why you just use little sparing bits of it. Like I think like we buy a can, and for one pizza we'll use less than a quarter of the can. I slice it super thin, and it's got so much flavor you don't need much. So what I'm doing here is I'm taking this little bit darker color and I'm just adding some darkness to the base of these trees. Tilt it a little bit. And just a little bit of kind of along the right edge.
Website stream over
I don't know. Might be. Kind of bounce a little bit in on the underside here. I got a little carry away right there, but okay, I'll fix that later. So I'm just taking this darker color now and I'm just kind of bouncing it in along the bottom edge here. Kind of rough it up a bit.
Oh yeah, I agree with you, Kim. Fried Spam is good, even low sodium, but Spam for this girl is a big no-no, even low sodium because it's still high. Yes, I agree with you on that. It's
yeah, if you've had blood pressure issues or anything like heart or conditions and stuff like that, that's not a good.
I completely removed all red meat from my diet just because I was like, I'm just gonna eat like chicken, fish, and
Just
turkey.
don't like it.
And no, I do like it.
No, I mean I don't.
Oh, okay. And I went back a year ago or so. My doctor had said my cholesterol was a little high, and I wasn't super concerned because the doctor wasn't concerned too much. But when I went back just in October, she said your cholesterol's come way down, and the only thing I've done differently is I cut out
Red meat.
beef and pork.
Yeah. All right.
It's
So
not like we were eating a ton of it.
no, no. I'm going to take a little bit of this color now, and I'm going to kind of give it a little bit of a shadow underneath.
What color are you using? This one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I need to put a little yellow ochre in mine.
Just a touch. It's almost none.
Okay. Yeah, Greta really loves something called masubi, which is a Japanese dish.
It's a Hawaiian dish.
Oh, is it Hawaiian? Okay. And it's a little like hand-formed ball of rice.
Sushi rice.
Yeah, sushi rice that has a piece of thin slice of fried spam across the top, and it's wrapped with a little seaweed strip. She loves that.
Yeah, and a lot of times they'll do like a little glaze of like teriyaki.
Yeah.
On the spam itself. All right. Same color. Just gonna kind of. I'm pretending that the light's just kind of straight back, straight overhead. So. Doesn't have to be real specific, just hint.
Hint of winter.
Yeah, just a hint of winter, hint of shade. But it's amazing, these little shadows, how important those are. They seem such a little detail, but I've seen a lot of paintings, especially in our industry, where they don't take that extra little bit of time to put a little shadow in.
Or to ground the trees.
Yeah, and it's a simple thing to do, and it doesn't have to be perfect, but it does add so much to the painting. All right, I'm going to switch over to my number 8. Now, I'm just going to take some yellow ochre, just a little bit, not much on my brush. And you don't have to get real full with this. Kind of like me on Thanksgiving.
Dude, you go back for like fourths.
You know, I haven't been doing that as much.
I'll watch you this year.
You know what? I can do it this year because I am the lightest I've been in probably...
That's enough. That's enough. You don't need to say anymore.
25 years?
You know, your sister Lee will probably bring mac and cheese, and that's where
I'll
you'll
load
go
up on
crazy. That's where you'll go crazy.
I know, I'm a jerk.
No, it's not your fault.
Proud of my accomplishment, can't talk about it.
That's not true. Paul has a pretty easy time losing weight, and for me, it's like hell has to freeze over before that happens. And it was only once I turned 40.
I think this is a common issue with couples.
Yeah, before I turned 40, it was like, oh, well, I just need to eat less and exercise more.
Like, to toot my own horn just a little bit, though, I am down like 40 pounds from my heaviest.
Yeah, you were, pre-COVID,
I was a little chonky.
You were fleshy.
I carried it well.
Fleshier.
I'm one of those people that carries it well, but I was pushing.
Because you're tall.
I was pushing 230.
There's a lot of bragging about being thin on this video. Yes, I agree.
Hey, I said it one time.
Funny.
I'm gonna have to order new pants, though.
That's enough. Okay, let's finish this up. I'm hungry.
I'm
All
really,
this weight loss talk
I'm
is making me hungry.
I'm starving. All right, so next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna start working on this bottom part. And I don't remember what process we put in here. I'm gonna do a different process than what I put on the instruction sheet. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our biggest brush, rinse it off, dry it off. And I'm going to mix basically white and yellow ochre, mostly white. I'll make a real pale wheat color.
Wheat.
Wheat. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to create a couple little mounds. I'm just using the very tip of the brush. I'm not pushing down very hard.
No, these are just grasses and stuff?
Yep. And you can see I'm just barely touching the brush. Now, if you want to use a smaller brush, you can do that to create some detail. But I don't think you need to, unless your brush is really in bad shape, which it happens. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of soften up this bottom edge. Now I'm going to do the same thing, the same color. I'm going to do the same thing over here on this other side. A little taller on the sides. You can kind of cut up in here. The reason the instructions show a lot more steps is because it was like, a lot of times when we're developing paintings, we're just taking pictures as we go. And sometimes I end up going back and doing something a couple of times. I just leave it in the instructions because there's nothing wrong with doing it that way. But I realize that there are easier ways to do it. You probably have the same thing.
I definitely do. I have been, what I do a lot of times, Paul, is I have a big thick pad of canvas paper, and I'll draw a rectangle that's about the same
dimensions.
What do they call that? The same scale?
Proportions.
Yeah. And then I do a mini painting first to see, do I even like this? Because I hate getting through a larger canvas and you're committed, and then you just end up not liking it. I hate that.
Right?
I hate that so much.
All right, so kind of got that laid out. I'm now going to do the same thing. I'm going to rinse my brush off real quick. Now I'm just going to use a little bit of just plain yellow ochre. Not quite as high. I want to leave a little, it can go up a little higher in some spots, and not very much of it. But we just basically are using this to kind of soften this in a bit. Much less of it. That softens it up a bit. Now we're just going to go straight into black.
Ew.
And I'm just going to start below. Your brush doesn't have to be super clean. But you can kind of just start pulling this color. Let me zoom in. You just kind of start pulling this up. You don't want to go up too high. This is how we make it kind of disappear into the foreground.
Oh, and look, it creates brown.
It creates brown.
So next painting, we're fully into Christmas.
Yeah.
Although Paul got me a bunch of new stuff to set up for the at-home studio, which means while he's working away at work, I can film some videos there. And I got myself a little whiteboard calendar so I can write a schedule. And those are ones that we'll just put on our old YouTube channel, the one that has like 6,000 followers. We might as well take advantage of that.
Yeah.
So I love the holidays, and I love doing themed holiday paintings. So I want to try to get some going there.
Now, if this feels a little too like harsh down here, you can always take a little bit of your yellow ochre.
Ah, you've been making Christmas presents for months. Need to finish. That's awesome. That's what Greta and I were talking about doing, because like you get to the point where you're just like, you don't know what to buy people.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the people we buy for, when they want something, they buy it themselves. And so we're trying to think, well, what can we do that they can't buy for themselves? And it's always making stuff. So I have a whole ton of candle making supplies, and I'm going to get that going.
So I'm going to zoom in real quick. And you can take your smallest brush, rinse it off. You can take a little bit of this lighter color we used, and you can add some, oops, that's too much water.
One of my favorite gifts someone gave me one year was a mason jar that had the layered mix of everything you need for chocolate chip cookies. You just have to add like butter and egg. I thought that was the coolest thing. It's the way she layered it all together and tied this cute little bow on the top, around the top of the mason jar lid.
So all I'm really doing is adding an occasional little swoop or jag and some dots and stuff. You don't want to do a lot of this, but just to add some, it feels like some details. I'll do the same thing on the other side. It's a little bit harder for me to get this over here under our camera, but
Dots and details. And what color are you using?
just the same color that we used. Yeah. And this is, you don't have to do this. But if you feel like it needs a little bit of extra, texture or something like that, and just, some little dots is all you really need. It doesn't have to be anything all that fancy. And add some extra little texture.
I've been painting Christmas ornaments. I'm not up to learning candle making. But I do have a craft night with 2 other teachers once a month. Oh, that's fun. That's good that you guys do that. The candle making, I was terrified of it for so long, and then I finally just started watching YouTube videos, and I still haven't got it dialed into. The hardest thing is figuring out the wick size, because if you use too big of a wick, your candle like burns right out to the edges, and you get smoked glass, which doesn't look good. And if you use too small of a wick, it just tunnels right down in through the middle, and finding that perfect wick size is almost impossible. I thought, is this just me? And then I started reading forums, and like, nope, it's not just me. This is a hard thing.
All right, so I'm going to mix some color. I'm kind of going back to this little puddle here. I'm going to add mostly white, a little bit of yellow ochre, a little bit of our regular processed yellow. And I'm just going to take this color, need a little bit more of our regular yellow. And again, I'm just adding a little bit of smudge back there. I want this to be pretty textured, pretty streaky. Adding a little hint of this color in the back is good. And it's just one of these subtle little things. Maybe I get a little carried away with it, but it's one of these subtle little things.
This one?
Yeah. That
shimmer.
Yeah, and this roughness.
Necessary roughness.
It's necessary roughness because a lot of times people don't take the time. They just blend everything out and it's just smooth colors all the time. And, that works. It's fine. To each their own. But I feel like personally is like if you're looking at something like this that's a field or something, having these little bits of texture and stuff make it so much more interesting than just leaving it plain. But you don't have to do the whole thing, just little bits, just to remind us that there's more going on. All right, we got one more step.
Ooh.
We are going to do flowers. And I don't know what kind of flowers these are. They're like poppies or something. I was looking at a picture of a field, and they were just these bright, just magenta, pure magenta in our case. I mean, you could add a little bit of processed yellow to it to make it a little bit more orange.
I don't know if poppies would be in.
I don't know what it was.
Season.
I don't know.
It
what
could
it
be
was.
whatever you want it to be. It's your thing.
But I'm just going to take this number 8 and just kind of plop them in here. And I think one of the things that's really gets a little bit tricky for people, I think, is they're like, they tend to do just like, they don't know when to stop fading them out, when to stop putting them in. And so to me, it's like, you just kind of want to have some along the edge. But if you just do them along the edge, it creates a line. So then you just kind of add a couple little hints down below. But not a lot, just a couple. So I added a little bit of yellow to that so it's a little bit brighter. You could just use pure magenta. You could actually come back and add some just pure magenta little dabs in here too. And I'll do the same thing on the other side. Mostly it's going to be down in the darker area. But I try to make sure that the brush is kind of making similar shapes and sizes as I do this. We had to think, okay, these are growing up on stems, so there's not going to be a lot down below. Now I do like to then also take a little bit of this color and add some little hints along the edge of the background. Why?
This is a very nicely groomed little area out in the wild.
Yeah. Why? Well, maybe it's the edge of a field. But we add these little hints of color so that it reminds us that, hey, this is growing over there too. And maybe it's not like real specific details, it's just little smudges of this color, little echoes. Or you could...
Or it could be leaves that fell off the trees.
Could be leaves that fell off the trees. But it balances what we're doing down below. You can even just throw a little smudge of this color. There's a little patch that grew right there. Another little friendly patch over here.
You're going Bob Ross.
I realized it. I didn't do it on purpose. Like at first I didn't, but then I was kind of like adding on to it. And if you feel like, oh, I want to add some of this color into my tree. I actually really like that little pop of extra brightness on these trees.
You copied me.
I did not intentionally, but I'm sure it happened.
It's a good.
But I feel like this is something that you have to be careful not to get into that.
My trees were just looking a little too purple, I think.
Yeah, well, you have to be careful not to be like, I'm going to detail the heck out of this at this point. You know, it's really easy to get into that mode. Okay, we are done.
Sign it.
Sign it.
But what color?
I'm going to use that color I just used. Did you use all your paint?
A lot of it. I didn't use a lot of blue. I didn't use a lot of blue or yellow or black, but all the other colors are pretty much toast.
Find mine almost too small. I mean, almost 2. There we go. All right. Oh, wow. Did you see that?
Yeah.
That was amazing. That took
Flicked
skills.
water all over your painting.
That's all right. It'll survive. Let's get palettes out of the way. Let's see how Jenny did. Oh, wiggle the mouse, Jenny. Wiggle it.
I just didn't do anything different to mine.
Jenny just rolled with it today.
My clouds are a little intense.
I think it's okay. I think that works. There we go. I think these are probably the closest we've ever had to our paintings looking like each other's
Maybe.
paintings.
I do like the way my mountain turned out, because remember I said that mine often look like they're saran wrapped?
Yeah, so this, and I'll zoom in on Jenny's real quick and we can see what really helped that is this harder line right here.
Yeah, I just took so I made the lighter kind of very, very pale blue.
Mm-hmm.
And then I came in with white and treated the white like it's a glittery, like
Shimmer.
the sun is glistening off of this point. And I thought about like, okay, which parts of the mountain are going to grab the light?
Yep.
Thank you. I actually ended up being happy with the way my trees turned out too.
Yeah, they turned out really good. I would not
Christmas trees.
like having.
I had struggled with that. I kept wanting to make Christmas tree shapes.
I would not
Conical
immediately look at this and know that you painted it.
Look how these line up.
Oh yeah. Like yeah, I feel like you broke through some of those things that
thank
kind
you,
of are
Marlene.
signature Jenny things, which is good.
I tried the necessary roughness.
So when I say that, I'm not saying it like you're like. I just want to clarify for people. I'm not saying that what she does in the past is wrong, but the way we grow as artists is by pushing through our habits and like adopting new techniques and stuff like that. And so that's always a positive thing, especially if you can tell that that's what the person's trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't me being like, huh. You
So
finally
rude.
painted like me, so you're finally good.
So rude, Paul.
Yeah. But no, that turned out really good, and I feel like
Look, it's like a date night painting.
Yeah.
With 2 mountains that match each other.
I feel like this painting went really well.
Yeah. Happy with it? For
Yeah.
sure.
Let's come back. Wait, do we have our next month's paintings?
I can grab them.
Yeah. I feel like
Right here and here.
mine almost just feels like yet another view of the same area.
I like this one. Well, I like both of them, but I really like the cozy cabin feel. This looks like it's like somewhere in Finland or something.
Or
Somebody
Wyoming.
Snowed in and celebrating Christmas because there's little Christmas lights around the house.
This one's all about
So,
sky.
and this is one where people who don't celebrate Christmas can leave the lights off, and
Yeah.
it can be just a winter.
Same with this one. I've got tree lights on this tree, and you don't have to do that. I mean, actually, this painting, yeah, this one's all about the sky. If you hadn't figured that out, I mean,
It's called Soft Winter Sky.
it's 3/4 of the painting, and it's fun. So.
Oh yes, the cabin. It makes my heart sing too. I was really happy with that, the way it turned out, and that was one that I did a little miniature painting first, and I was like, yes, this is the one. I think I tried maybe 2 or 3 different styles of painting. Like, what am I going to paint for December? And I really did end up liking that one a lot. So
And
that'll be
we
December 8th, I think.
We apologize. We haven't painted January yet.
No.
But-
This getting way ahead is weird for us, and
We kind of got
but-
caught up in vacation and then the Arts Foundation getting going, and so we didn't have anybody that we had to ship out this month, so we didn't have to have January done. But that is on our agenda maybe for next week.
Yeah, it's on our agenda for as
Yeah,
soon as humanly possible.
for sure.
I just finished a dog commission painting too, so that was a big one, 18 by 24, and it was a brindle dog on the beach. So I had to paint brindle pattern and sand, and that was a little intimidating. It was a donation I did for Animal Aid, and someone won the bid for the custom pet portrait. So I'm delivering that next week, but then I feel like I'll have more time to actually work on.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving! Bought some wood ornaments, and I might do the cabin on. Yes, do the cabin on a wood ornament. That would be really cute. The sky terrifies you. Which sky? Oh,
no, mine.
No,
no,
I think
you'll be fine.
I think it'll be a lot like what we did tonight.
I think
but
actually
just,
even easier.
Yeah, easier because it wouldn't have the linear.
Because
light.
the thing about the soft winter sky, and just bring it back real quick, it's not really specifically clouds or anything. I mean, there are obviously texture there, but if you look at it, like if I were to hold it up close, we're not really creating shapes. It's just more like almost like sponge painting. Does that make sense? I mean, you could totally do this sky using a small piece of sponge and
a wadded up paper towel.
Wadded up paper towel. I mean, I've done that on paintings in the studio, even where we use a paper towel or something like that. And that one's just all just a matter of just letting the colors do their thing.
Yeah, I think it'll be good. Well, you guys enjoy your turkey, stuffing, pumpkin pie. Calories don't count on
Mashed potatoes, mac and cheese, green beans.
Eat as much as you like. It only
wine.
comes around once a year, so you can take that day and
vino.
Yeah. So hopefully we are very thankful for you guys, and hopefully you will have a great Thanksgiving, and we will see you December 8th. Probably before, because I do have some plans for using the new camera equipment Paul got me.
That was rude. I yawned.
Rude. So nice chatting with all of you.
Always.
And we will see you
next
soon.
Well,
together
December.
live. We'll see you December 8th.
Yep.
Bye.
See you guys.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.